Hi, and welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, then welcome. My name's Maren, and you're watching Maren Makes It. Today, I'm here to give you part 2 to my car versus tent camping analysis. In my last week's video, I talked about all the pros and cons for camping in a tent. This week, I'm going to do something similar, except for sleeping in the car as a camping option instead. If you missed part 1, don't worry, you can watch this one first and then go back and watch the other video. I'll make sure to link it at the end of this video and also in the description down below so it's easy for you to find. My purpose in making these videos is really so that it's easier for you to decide if you should get a tent or camp in your car. Ultimately, your choice might affect how much you enjoy your adventures, and I want you to be able to enjoy traveling and adventuring and nature a little bit more. I really wanted to film the entire car pro versus cons video in my car since I filmed my tent video in my indoor tent setup. However, honestly, it's February and it's freezing cold outside and I don't think I can sit in the car that long, so I guess we're going back to the indoor tent. All right, now so for the pros for being inside a car. One of the first ones is definitely that you're kind of your own capsule unit. So it's kind of like having a very mini mobile home in the sense that everything you have and everything you're using is contained in one space altogether, and you're basically always ready to go. You have no setup or cleanup time. The next advantage of being in a car is that you're very stealthy. It's a lot easier to go undercover and you have a lot more options as to where to sleep in a car compared to being in a tent. In a tent, you're really limited to having to go to an official campground, whereas in a car, you can also sleep at rest stops, truck stops, and some 24-hour parking lots. Technically, there is no federal law that prohibits sleeping in your car. However, each state has their own rules on this. I'll link this article down below, but this article breaks down every state and which states it is legal and what is legal in those states to do with regards to sleeping in your car. So if you're going on a long road trip, you can bookmark this and continue to refer back to it as you might cross state lines. Some cities have their own rules on top of it, so this can definitely get kind of confusing. The next pro is kind of a flip side of one of our cons from being in a tent, and that is that you're protected from the elements, so no amount of rain is going to get into your car. You are safe from lightning inside a vehicle. A lot of people think that this is because of the rubber tires on a car that keeps you safe because rubber is an insulator, but this is actually not true. Wait, I have to interrupt myself here so that we can take a moment to appreciate this clip of lightning that I just showed. Obviously, this wasn't shot while camping, but this was actually the very first video footage that I ever edited in iMovie. So, thank you for witnessing this historical moment with me, and now back to the video. So I was saying about lightning. You are safe from lightning inside a vehicle. A lot of people think that this is because of the rubber tires on a car that keeps you safe because rubber is an insulator, but this is actually not true. It's the metal capsule of the car that surrounds you that keeps you safe and kind of conducts lightning basically around you. It's kind of like being in a cage that conducts the lightning into the ground instead of into you. So actually something important to keep in mind is that during a thunderstorm or a lightning storm, you don't want to be touching the metal parts of the car. Sleeping in your car can definitely be a money saver as well. You don't have to buy as much specialized gear. You can use pillows, blankets, and things you already have in your house, as opposed to having to buy a tent and any accessories such as sleeping bags and things that go with it. If you already have a car and you already have pillows and blankets, you can definitely make this work without having to buy any specialized gear. I actually have made a whole video already on how to set up this kind of a bed comfortably in your car. If your car is at least the size of a Toyota Corolla, I think this will work for you. I'll link that video in the description down below and at the end of this video so you can watch that one next. Another way it can save you money is that you can sleep in places that maybe don't cost you money at all sometimes. Sleeping in the car can also definitely save you time because you're not spending all that time setting up the tent and all the gear every day. Especially if you're moving locations a lot, this time of setting up can really start to add up, whereas in your car, you're kind of in that mini motorhome and you're like ready to go when you wake up in the morning. When you're sleeping in a car, you have the added peace of mind of knowing that you're behind a locked door. Especially if you're camping by yourself, this can be a real mind game that you can play with yourself. And just knowing that a car alarm would go off if somebody were to try to break into my car gave me a huge sense of peace of mind and probably was a reason why I was able to sleep so well even while I was camping. There was something comforting in being able to watch this little rhythmic blinking light at night, reassuring me that the alarm was really on. As for cons of being in the car, a lot of these are going to be the flip side of the pros of being in a tent. So for one, it's just limited to one person, maybe two, depending on how you have your car set up. It's definitely more claustrophobic. You don't have room to really sit up all the way. It's really hard to change your clothes. And if you're a tall person or a larger person, it's really hard to not feel claustrophobic sometimes. Additionally, you really only have privacy when you put the window shades up when you're in this car camping setup. This means that once you put those shades up, you're not moving the car anymore. You're not going anywhere else at night. This means that a lot of the time that would be the last thing I would do before I go to bed, but it really meant that I had no privacy until the moment I went to bed. The next con of being in your car is that it definitely can look like you're homeless because you are living out of your car and you are sleeping in your car. In more populated areas and more metropolitan areas, this can definitely kind of stand out as being unusual and can draw unwanted attention to you. I actually had it in California that I was stopped by police on 2 occasions where they kind of ended up parking next to me and they were questioning what was going on here. Because in that state, it's not legal to sleep in your car. I kind of explained to them, that this was part of a bigger road trip and that I had a reservation that night for a campground. I even offered to show them that reservation on my phone. They were very friendly about it once I explained everything, but it definitely drew in some extra and possibly unwanted attention that I did not anticipate. Additionally, when you have your car set up this way, you don't really have a passenger seat at all. So if you do have to transport another person, or if you are planning to do something with other people, it kind of goes on the other person then to drive, or you're completely rearranging your car in order to make space for that person. I had this a couple times where I was taking people to the airport where it was a little bit more complicated to arrange because I didn't have any seating in my car left, other than the driver's seat at least. Anyways, I wanted to just share a little bit of my own experience to give you guys some perspective. Both tents and cars come with their upsides and downsides, and both are ways that you're going to be able to see some amazing places or travel while saving a lot of money in the process. Anyways, I know that was a lot of information in today's video. I hope you found this video to be helpful. If you did, consider giving me a thumbs up down below and subscribing to my channel for more similar content coming soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, YouTube!